The people very friendly, very friendly. It's something that before wasn't like this.
They're happy to see you.
Yeah, they're really happy to see us.
That's another thing they're happy to see. How many times did you have to get tested? Do you remember?
Hey folks, and welcome back to Pattaya. Today we're gonna go around town and look at some places that correspond with an article I just read in a well-known business journal. The article, I think, may give away, maybe inadvertently give away some behind-the-scenes goings-on, some of the things in progress here in Pattaya, which may change the city profoundly. It might point to the future of what the future Pattaya may look like. After all this, what's going on now, even though we're in the middle of it, it seems terrible for us. It's just a bump in the road for the big money people. But anyway, last time we saw that our old buddy Rudy was back from the Phuket sandbox, so thought we'd have a quick word with him and see what that was all about.
I'm cruising down Soy Bacau, and my old friend Rudy, he's back home. He's been gone for a couple months,
Yep.
and he came back through the sandbox, the Phuket sandbox. So, how was it, man?
It was at the start to make all the document.
Right.
Some time. It's not easy to make the document because you have to give to the embassy this paper, that paper, and the vaccination paper. But
It's a lot to do with the documents,
Yeah.
and we just did an episode about health insurance, and part of that is getting the 100,000 US dollars.
exactly.
But I think, I was just talking to Rudy, I think for somebody coming back into Thailand just now, it's much better than going to a 2-week hotel,
For sure.
because you went out and had fun, right?
It's open. You stay in all the island. You can go everywhere. You can go to the beach. You can go to the mall. The people very friendly, very friendly. It's something that before wasn't like this.
They're happy to see you.
Yeah, they're really happy to see us.
That's another thing they're happy to see. How many times did you have to get tested? Do you remember?
The first day we came,
Right?
we landed.
First
Then
day.
The 7th day, and then the 12th day.
So that's 3 tests.
3 tests.
Oh, and then you got to pay for
You
those
pay for this about 8,000 baht
each?
for all the 3 tests. You
Oh,
have to pay
okay.
8,000 baht, but you have to pay it before you get the paper to get to Thailand.
Ah,
You
okay.
have to make a reservation. You have to make the paper for the test. Then you can get the proof to get inside Thailand.
That's about $250 US for the 3
No,
tests.
less. I think less.
A little bit less,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And then you pay that up front and you get your test.
yeah.
But instead of staying in a hotel, I know you had fun because I follow him on Facebook. He was all over the place.
Yeah. We go to the beach, we go to the mall, we go many nice places.
That's awesome, man. But I'm glad to have you back.
Happy to be back to Thailand.
But he comes back at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
Even today, just the pool's closed.
Yeah.
The barber shop's closed. There's nothing open except his bike shop.
But still we can go freely in the road, so it's okay, you know?
Yeah,
In the
yeah.
street, it's okay.
But you had some fun, so
We had some fun. Yeah, for sure.
awesome. All right, Rudy, I got a lot to do today. We got a lot to do. So,
Okay.
good,
No worries.
good on you.
Thank you.
So our story starts today in the shadow of the Centaura Grand Hotel on top of the Terminal 21 shopping mall. This is a large bar complex here on the north end of town. These are all over the place. This is just one in particular. And they may prove to be the biggest, in terms of the entertainment venues, the biggest casualty here after all of this. I'm not sure they will ever regain traction. And here's what I think about that and where it goes.
Even when things were open, they didn't work because nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. And if you don't have a crowd, they don't work. I would say maybe 65 to 80% of these need to be open for it to work as a complex. So they're all over Pattaya, not just this one. And if you've been here, you know that. And they've never gained traction. But some of the more, I don't know, closed door upscale places, even when things were open, seem to do better. So maybe that's a lesson learned here. But that's not really what this is about. We're talking about the future and where Pattaya is heading. And I tell you, I read an article. I read a lot of articles, business articles. I read one about 3 weeks ago that I just can't get out of my head. There's a couple tidbits in there that are very profound and I think tell all. So we'll get into that. We'll kind of follow that because one of the, everybody has questions. I don't know any answers. I can only guess like the rest of you, but one of the very sound ways of getting to the bottom of something, I've always believed, is follow the money. Let me know if you've heard that expression and think there's some validity to it. sometimes following the money kind of leads to the answer, or at least maybe the best guess or a clue. So that's what I think this article does. And when I talk about money, I'm talking about a lot of money. I'm not talking about somebody who owns some bars in town or restaurants or things like that. I'm talking about huge amounts. We're going to go around, we're going to go to a couple different places. But before we go, I'll just show you the headline, I'll show you the article. It's from a reputable source, I think, Forbes. Right there. I'll show you the big screen. Thai real estate giant bets on tourism rebound with $3.2 billion growth plan. That's $3.2 billion US, not baht. That makes a big splash. And that's just the headline, but there's something so profound in this article later on down at the bottom of it that we'll get to that I really think is a tell-all. But before we get to that, let's kind of go through some of the points in the article, and I'll show you to support some of the things they're saying. We'll go visit some of these places. We'll take a look. And that will help you understand when we get to the end of maybe what's going on here, and maybe when things are going to reopen and why. So one of the things they've done with this money is they've started buying up properties like this one. So to show you what I mean, this is the first item up for bids. They recently bought this 550 million baht. It's called the Splendid Hotel Resort, or Resort Spa, I believe. Splendid Resort JOMTIEN is what it's called. Don't know if it'll be called that forever. It looks like they're remodeling the place. But just a short block to the beach. In the northern part of JOMTIEN, which is where most of the activity, the entertainment, the restaurants are. Just past Soi 7 is what's known as Soi White House. Don't know if it's officially called that, but that's what people refer to it by. But at any rate, this is the first big thing. They've done stuff in Bangkok, but this is the first thing in Pattaya. This is like maybe their first venture into fulfilling the goal. So we'll read down farther in the article. This looks like this is a huge piece of land back here. Maybe I'll show you on the satellite view. Great big piece of land, pool. It really doesn't look like much from here, but it's pretty sprawling. I think the land itself was worth that. But anyway, I'm going to go down and show you another property that they're involved with. I think it even drives the point home farther. But while I do that, let's take a little bit more of an in-depth look at the article and where it's going with all this, and break down some facts and figures and show you the part that I find the most profound.
Let's go down through this and I'll show you what I mean. First of all, on the cover, that's Walapa Trisarat. She is the CEO of one of Thailand's new biggest IPOs, Asset World Corp. And she's very respected here. One of the biggest real estate firms ever to have an IPO on the stock exchange. So that was just, I think, late 2019. So in addition to the IPO and being kind of flush with cash from that, they've also secured some pretty big financing. You'll see here lines of credit. You know, when you have money and you have assets, it's easier to get more. So that's quite a war chest there. 50 billion baht in financing and loan agreements. So what are they going to do with that money? Well, we'll go down through here and I'll show you some of the nomenclature they use. But first, this is their forecast. This is their prediction. Bangkok to lead the way in a V-shaped recovery, starting in the second half of 2022. That's a year from now. Phuket to follow up the following year, 2023, year and a half out from now, once reciprocal travel agreements are in place. So, and here's what we started talking about today. Agreements with Marriott, Hyatt hotels, great big names in the tourism industry. And down here begins their vision. Now, pay close attention to the lingo they use. Reimagining Pattaya. That's the first instance I'll show you. A big billions of dollar project for that. Over down here, I think they call it a makeover. Makeover for Pattaya. Kind of a different nomenclature, but about the same. And what does that mean? Well, a destination for conferences and conventions. Not sure that's exactly what Pattaya is known for right now, so I guess that would be a makeover or something of that nature. But here again, transforming Pattaya. There you go. That just flat out says changing, basically. I think the vision is to make it more like a global gateway, like Phuket, as they put it, and that goes hand in glove with some of the other projects going on, like the airport expansion, the rail lines, maybe even the Pattaya monorail.
So, getting back to following the money, if you're gonna make a bet or a guess of when something's gonna open, what it's gonna look like, when it's gonna be, I'll go with the financial markets. They have the most to lose. I think they've done the most research. They might know some inside information. I'll go with them rather than some opinion column I read in the paper or somebody I meet on a bar stool. V-shaped recovery, Bangkok, then Phuket, then Pattaya. Big loans, huge lines of credit, big plans, reshaping Pattaya. It's pretty profound. It's pretty profound. And this, where we're at now, is another venture. It's called the Renaissance. This is a beautiful property. I mean, I had kind of an excuse to come here to do this video. I wanted to see, it's a Marriott property, but they've entered a partnership with Marriott to run this place or whatever, manage it. It's gorgeous. I think I want to stay here. I went in and got a price. I think maybe tomorrow we'll stay here. They have a lot of like policies in place that to mitigate all the current restrictions. For example, the pool. They just closed my pool in the condo. But they have a special area. They will work with the guests to make sure they stay in one area of the pool or whatever, so you can use the pool. Long story short, they make it possible to keep the pool open for however reason. Dining, breakfast. I said breakfast. Do they bring it to your room? She said no. You go down and eat. It's not buffet. It's a la carte, but you can sit out and eat it. And the staff was wonderful here. There's people arriving to check in. I think I'll stay here. They gave me the prices. they gave me some prices, but I'll see what I can get on Agoda. So I've already done a walk-up price, and I'll find out on Agoda. I think we'll probably come here and stay tomorrow since we can't travel. We did this last year too. We couldn't travel, so we came down to JOMTIEN. It just felt like a whole new world. But anyway, this is the second big venture here in the Pattaya area from this company who has really doubled down on the rebounding of tourism. And they gave an interview, the CEO, the lady I showed you, seems like she knows what she's doing. She's very respected here. Big investment, big bold statements, but like I said, if you're gonna bet, I'll bet on that. So part of being a convention city is you need a convention center or an exhibition hall. But you know what? We already got one, and it's called the Peach. The Peach, that sounds like something you'd see in Georgia maybe, but it actually stands for Pattaya Exhibition and Convention Hall. So Peach, P-E-A-C-H. But anyway, big lovely facility here, and we spent about 2 days. This is a whole campus back at a resort, Royal Garden Cliffs. Fabulous resort. We had a great time. I think I did 2 episodes on it. If you live in the Pratamnak Hill area, you certainly know, but a typical tourist to Pattaya may not even realize there's a big convention hall here already, exhibition hall, whatever you want to call it. But great facility here. And I've never really seen it busy. I'm sure there's been big events here. I don't come up here much, but the times I've been around, it always seems like there's nothing going on. So that might change, because you see the article. When that's the goal of a corporation with a lot of money and a big plans that are already in motion. We looked at 2 properties that they're already either in partnership or have bought. What about their forecast for a V-shaped recovery starting in Bangkok, then going to Phuket and filtering down to the rest of the country? Is that forecast accurate? It seems like they know what they're doing. Seems like they might know what they're talking about. Seems like they have a lot of money at stake. So That's why I think I can't get it out of my head. But ironically, it's kind of neat, but this place, even though it's a beautiful convention center, exhibition hall, and great hotels, it's like less than 5 minutes from this place. This is it. Only a couple minutes away. That's kind of hard to believe. It's a little bit ironic. But this is probably the most talked about place in Pattaya, and not always from a good vantage point. It's often talked about as will it be demolished? Will it go away? Will it be turned into something else? But if I had to guess, my guess is it's not going anywhere. This is the anchor. Like I said, the epicenter. It's not Pattaya without a walking street, as long as it still has that same atmosphere and vibrance. And that's what I'm a little bit afraid of. But if you remember, back, I don't know, almost 15 minutes ago, we were here. So yeah, remember this? We're right back at the beginning. This is where we started. So I don't think places like this maybe will fare as well as Walking Street. I think even though they all look equally depressed right now, Walking Street, I think, can be an anchor. I think it's kind of that iconic point of interest in Pattaya that will support all of the other things, whether it be convention, exhibit halls. I don't think it's Pattaya without Walking Street. It's like, I don't know, it's like going to Disney World and they don't have the castle there. It's almost gotta be there. It might look different. It might look altogether different. I don't know if the ambience and the flair from what you remember from several years ago will still be there. It might be, who knows? Some places might turn over, some changes might be made, but I don't think it's going anywhere, even though despite so much talk about it. But places like this, these complexes, I don't know. That would be the number one thing I would worry about, the kind of the lower end, the wholesale end of the entertainment business and of the lodging, the accommodation, everything. So some people have said, oh, Pattaya is going upscale. Just, it's always kind of laughable to me because when people say Pattaya is going upscale, that's been happening for 30 years. It's nothing new. It's nothing new at all. I remember the bamboo buildings and the dirt roads. So the gravel pothole roads. So that's been happening. It looks like it's continuing, and maybe even more so. So it's very accurate. All right, that's all it's going to be.
So there you go. Are there things happening in the background while the town is basically asleep right now? We're being in the midst of this, like I indicated in the beginning. It seems like there's no end. It's like being in the middle of a dark forest. But if you're on the outside with a lot of money making plans, a year or two almost seems like nothing. That's like normal in any kind of big planning project. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm just concerned as the town sleeps, like I said, will it wake up a different place? I guess time will tell, and it has been heading that direction anyway. Do you think the bar complexes will survive, or do you think they largely could be a casualty to all of this? Kind of being on the lower end and kind of needing a crowd to make it. That's kind of what they thrive on, is a crowd. I'm not sure. Just even when we've opened, we've had about 6-8 months of opening in the last year, and all of those remain closed. So I think they may be past the point of no return. But let me know what you think. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Maybe some food for thought here. But as we ride around down here at the convention center, maybe the shape of things to come, I'm going to go ahead and leave it off right here. And as usual, I'll thank you for watching. And until next time, bye for now.